Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome on into the Swear Word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear. And hey, this is a podcast for the Chilihead community, by the Chilihead community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is the place for you. Man, we have an amazing episode here tonight. We have two sauces on deck for Hot or Not, a very fun game planned, as well as an amazing guest locked and loaded, ready to go. So, episode 83 starts now. What's going on, Swear Nation? So glad to have everyone here, rocking and rolling. Whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, or Apple Podcast, thank you so much for being here and making this show what it is. Hey, continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads and continue to help grow the overall community here. And, this is a great avenue for everyone to discover everything to do with the world of hot. We have two products on deck for Hot or Not tonight. Both of these are, once again, from Freaky Ferments. We have the jalapeno and we have smokin'. So we will be diving into those here momentarily, as well as we have an amazing guest, Fritz, that we will be discussing everything to do with the life of a chili head and a competitive pepper eater. So as well as we have a very fun game of Keep 5, Cut 5, ready to go. So don't forget, you too can play along. Drop in the comments below whether you would have answered the overall selection different than Fritz did. So let's go ahead and kick it on over to Hot or Not. All right, hey, welcome on into Hot or Not. Man, we have two sauces on deck tonight. These are from Freaky Ferments. We have jalapeno and we have smokin'. These are going to be absolutely amazing. If you are just starting out, both of these sauces should be geared towards you and what you're going to be looking for. If you're into, jalapeno sauces as a whole, these both tonight are going to be phenomenal for your additional lineup. So, we will start out tonight with jalapeno, but before I do, just in case, there's always new folks joining all the time, I want to give a overall explanation of how I do things here. So I don't do a 1 out of 10, I do a 1 out of 5, and that is based off of 5 different categories. You have heat, aroma, flavor, versatility, and burn. And from that, I add those up, get us a total average. From that factors into our swear word rating. So, here we go. We're going to start out with jalapeno from Freaky Ferments. Give it a good shake. All right. So off the bat, does have perforated tear tab on the cellophane. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it though, because I like to use the knife. Get that off to the side. Overall visual appeal, dark green color to the sauce. Love what's going on here. Nice flow and consistency. High flow rate once you get it going. Visual appeal, the very nice grabbing label that's going on here. I'll go ahead and have that up here as well for you to check out. You can see that the jalapeno, there's a man relaxing. He's got some slices of jalapeno on his eyes, and he just looks like he's in absolute bliss. So let's dive on into jalapeno from Freaky Ferment. Wow. Immediately on the nostrils, you're getting that bright overall. You get that nice funky ferment smell as well as that bright jalapeno, and you're really just enjoying every moment of it. If I had to think of what this immediately drew me back to, it is I'm at a stadium and I have just ordered some nachos and I am just dousing it in jalapeno slices. That's exactly what this smells like right now. Phenomenal. Looking forward to it. Here we go. Let's get a good pour going. Nice flow on this sauce. You see some pepper bits in there as well as, just a very smooth consistency. So Enjoying that. And once again, I do not like to read the ingredients ahead of time. Obviously, it has jalapeno in the name of the sauce, so I'm going to go ahead and assume, based on the smell and the name, that there is jalapeno in the sauce. And cheers. Wow. Wow. Okay, let's talk through that one. Yes, the second that you consume this sauce, it tastes just like, what you would expect the nachos, like the jalapenos on the nachos to be. I am salivating like crazy. This is an absolute tasty sauce right here. So, you're getting that great flavor of the jalapeno coming forward, a kiss of maybe some onion or some peppers, like bell peppers or something else going on in there to kind of give it a little bit of body and depth, because there is a little bit, just an ever so slight amount of savory complexity to this. But really, the main star, the main focal point in this sauce is 100% that jalapeno. There might be a little bit of garlic in there, starting to taste that on the finish, but nothing overpowering by any stretch. Absolutely love what's going on in this one here. Let's go ahead and read off some ingredients. And I guess to also stay, walking through, let's talk about the heat real quick, actually, before that one starts to completely fade away. The initial heat, the way I gauge that is the first, 0 to 30 seconds. Then from there, it hands over to burn, which is burn is where it sits, how it sits, does it amplify, does it migrate, all the other things. So heat, the second you get it, you get a nice, little bit of a sizzle on the tip of the tongue, a little bit on the gums, but that's about it. Nothing anywhere else really hitting or latching on or taking hold in any kind of shape or form. Now, the flavor, though, is very phenomenal. We already briefly discussed on that. But the versatility to this sauce, now this is probably not going to be one that I'm going to be gravitating towards on a dessert. Perfectly fine, not intended to be a dessert sauce. But the availability to be able to use this on, tacos, pizzas, salads, using this as, sandwiches, burgers, you name it, you go down the line, you're going to be able to work this in. Anywhere that you would normally put in jalapeno, you could easily substitute this in. This is going to be phenomenal, as well as, I could see this working beautifully in a stew as well to like cook with. It would bring that bright body of the jalapeno forward. So let's dive into the burn. The burn on this one, you're not really feeling anything in the chest, anything in the stomach, anything in the throat. It ends up actually, fading out relatively quick. So basically, the second that the burn starts to kick in, it is already starting to fade out. Now, definitely one that if you're just starting out, you're going to be able to pick up, you're going to be able to enjoy and go to town on and not really have to worry about burning yourself down. If you are constantly pushing yourself to your own personal best, this sauce right here is going to be a nice mild sauce for you. I believe that this might be the lowest heat sauce that Freaky Ferments has. I'm not 100% certain on, but I'm pretty sure that that's the case. But all in all, phenomenal job. Love what they're doing over at Freaky Ferments. So for jalapeno from Freaky Ferments, we have ingredients of jalapeno pepper, green bell pepper, onion, garlic, shallots, salt, apple cider vinegar, and xanthan gum. I mean, the shallots on this are very, very well done. I love the incorporation of shallots, garlic, and onion because you do get, as far as, some folks do see it as kind of being uniformly the same, but there are very different characteristic traits on the way that the flavor carries, the different types of flavors, the intensities through those three different ingredients. So love seeing that there. Beautifully well done on a very minimal overall ingredient list in that sauce. But let's go ahead and we will read off some scores. All right, so heat is coming in at a 2, aroma of 4, flavor of 4.15, versatility of a 4, a burn of a 2, with a total swear word rating of 3.23. There we go. Another amazing sauce. This is once again from Freaky Ferments, the jalapeno sauce. Very friendly for those individuals just really getting into hot sauce, and those individuals that are wanting some amazing jalapeno flavor brought forward to their dish. Now, let's go ahead and check out smoking. All right, give this one a good shake. All in all, color-wise, slightly darker than jalapeno, and it's, with a name like Smokin', I'm expecting this thing to be nice and smoky. So, overall color, darker green, much deeper in that sense, but all in all, same look, same consistency in the overall sauce itself. Now, the imagery on the label, much more in action. As where the jalapeno, he's relaxing. He's got the jalapenos on his eyes. This one, you can see a mad scientist. It looks like, I can't tell if it's a hammer or something that he's grabbing. Oh, he's grabbing for a container of some sorts, and got an arm whipped back. So, very visually appealing going on here. So let's get this one opened up, perforated as well, but I'm going to go ahead and use the knife, and we'll get this out of the way and opened up. So all of Freaky Ferment sauce are fermented, as to be expected with the name Freaky Ferments. So, oh wow, beautiful overall smell here. Nice mesquite, very strong aroma. And let's get a good pour. Nice consistency, maybe slightly thicker than jalapeno, but not by much. Set that one down. Yeah, great smoky aroma. You're picking up slight pepper notes, maybe a little bit of onion from the aroma, but that smoky depth that is carrying through is phenomenal. It smells, it doesn't smell like liquid smoke. It smells much more true to what it should be, which is smoked. Get a nice little swish around. Wow. Wow. That is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Smoking from Freaky Ferments. Right as it hits, you are greeted with that great smoky taste, and then you get a nice subtle kiss of what tastes like maybe some onion and some jalapeno coming forward. This is, if you had these two together, you have jalapeno as your, hey, I'm just an average guy going to town, and then all of a sudden smoking is its alter ego that comes out with a bit more flair and pizzazz, and he's got himself dressed up and ready to go. That is the differentiating taste between these two. So much more smoky, like the smoke adds so much more depth to the sauce and really just bringing it forward. I love the fact that it tastes like actual smoke. I'm not tasting any kind of a liquid smoke or synthetic or anything of that nature that typically is used to imitate smoke in a sauce. So very well done there. Heat-wise, I would say this is actually a bit hotter than jalapeno. So interested to dive in on the ingredients and figure that one out as well. And, we also we talked about overall versatility for jalapeno. I would say versatility-wise, it's going to be about the same as smoking and jalapeno. So not geared towards desserts, not really intended to be that way. So no harm, no foul. And definitely love what's going on here. The flavor profile between the two, if I had to compare, I would say the smoking is much more pronounced in what you're getting, much more body and depth to it, as to where jalapeno is going to be much more subtle. It's going to If you're not trying to bring a smoked flavor towards your dish or your taco or your pizza or whatever, then maybe jalapeno would be the better fit for you in that sense. But man, oh man, is that going to be phenomenal on sandwiches, burgers, pizzas, tacos, you name it. The world is endless with what you can do with this. Enchiladas is going to be phenomenal with this. I can only imagine. Probably not one that I would use in, say, like a mixture of me mixing up something for, say, like a salad dressing. I would probably go more with jalapeno for that, just because of, I haven't really experimented too much with. Maybe that's something I need to try. But a smoked sauce or smoked flavoring in a salad dressing. So might be something I actually check out, because that's now starting to sound a little bit more enticing as I talk through that. Burn wise or heat wise, you get the same initial on the tongue hit, but this one hits a bit more of the middle of the tongue and then really lashes out on the mouth. As to where with jalapeno, it kind of just hit the front and just really kind of faded out relatively quickly. This one lingers around just a little bit longer. It goes into the burn just by a little bit, but it does end up gravitating and parking on the middle of the mouth. It really resonates there pretty well. The flavors are consistent the whole way through. Nothing is overpowering another. Even with the smoked flavor, you're still able to pick up the other notes that are in this sauce. Very well done. And let's go ahead and read off some ingredients on this one here. So, for smoking from Freaky Ferments, we have ingredients of mesquite smoked jalapeno peppers, green bell pepper, onion, shallot, garlic, salt, kombucha, and xanthan gum. The kombucha on this one, I bet you, didn't think that was on. No, it's not on the jalapeno. So that overall depth, the way that everything blends together, makes it a lot more harmonious with smoking to be able to have that in there, from what I'm able to tell. Now, the garlic and the shallots and the onion on this one, much more toned down than, say, on jalapeno. Jalapeno, it's much more noticeable. It's much more in your face. Between the way all these ingredients are playing together, everything ends up molding together very well, holding form, and really letting everything just shine as one uniform note. And you do pick out the different subtleties in it, but it is not quite as distinct as, say, jalapeno. So very well done. Another sauce that, if you're just starting out, you're going to be able to enjoy, you're going to be able to use, have fun with your dishes, really find your love and your passion for the world of hot, and increase that tolerance. And if you are constantly pushing and working on your own personal best, this sauce right here is going to be a nice, once again, mild to medium, depending on where you're at, sauce that you're going to be able to enjoy, slather on your food, and have a great time doing it. Let's read off some scores for smoking from Freaky Ferments. All right, so smoking from Freaky Ferments, we have heat coming in at 2.45, aroma of 4.1, flavor of 4.08, versatility of a 4, a burn of 2.55, for a total swear word rating of 3.44. There we go. Another amazing sauce. This, once again, is from Freaky Ferments. This is the smoking sauce. And if you are into, smoked food, flavor that is true to what it is and not some liquid smoke, this is a phenomenal sauce for you. Definitely, if you're just starting out, it's going to be an absolute flavor bomb if you're constantly pushing your personal best, and you're going to be able to incorporate it and enjoy this sauce, with just about anything. Barbecue is definitely happening. I cannot wait to have a chopped brisket sandwich with this lathered on it. But let's go ahead and kick it on over to the interview. Hey, Fritz, how's it going?
Hey, what's up? How are you, bud?
Man, I am glad to have you here. Obviously, we have had quite some fun, whether that be our time in October at Pepperpalooza or the many other online shared burns that we have had. Glad to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Man, so one thing I always like to lead off with and really kind of get the wheels going is what got you into the world of spice, and then what was that catapulting moment that really started to say, "Hey, I'm going to continue to push myself to limits unheard of."
It really started in 2021. I was going through a divorce, and sad, is kind of a low point. And I was like, man, I need to do something different. So I started growing hot peppers, in my bedroom, and found out that a close mutual friend, Michael Feeney, was into growing peppers too. And so that kind of reignited our friendship. And so we would just kind of meet up, throughout the pepper season in 2021 and 2022. And it would just be eating peppers at the restaurant and just kind of sharing what we were growing. But it really wasn't until, last year, August, he was like, hey, man, you just need to join Cap Crew. You need to join Capsaicin Crew. He'd been, telling me for almost a year, you need to get in this pepper group. You need to come check this out. So, finally I did. I checked it out, and it's easy to just jump in there, and there's plenty to do. There's always some kind of flash or challenge going on. So really, it was just getting involved in a place where you can burn freely, and that's pretty much the environment. There's always something going on. There's always some way that you can, you know, push yourself. So I think it really took, full swing when I joined Cap Crew. I had really never eaten more than two or three peppers at a time. Nothing crazy, just sort of a casual chili head, I would say. And Cap Crew and Michael Feeney changed all that for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Feeney, you got to watch out for him. Him and his, squirrely shenanigans will get you in some world of burns. But a great person to have on your side and as a friend, and to continue to
Absolutely.
be there and push and continue to grow. I mean, so all right. So you touched on a few things. Now, I guess the real quick tie back to, since you mentioned eating, one or two peppers beforehand. You also mentioned being able to sit down and eat some pods as well with Feeney. What kind of heat were y'all eating then? Whenever you're kind of pairing them over meals.
It would be stuff that we had been growing in, ourselves. It'd be like red skunks, or it'd be like, a primatali or reapers, or, ghost peppers. It was anything, that we thought was kind of noteworthy that we hadn't tried, that we would just kind of share with each other.
Very nice. Yeah, and one of the beautiful things, and it sounds like y'all are kind of doing this as well. And I'm jealous because I can't recall. Well, there's a few that are somewhat close, but I'm not close with them in that way that we would be able to pull this off. But having in close proximity someone else that you can call a friend that would end up, growing a set list of, for sake of just explanation, 10 different varieties, right? And you grow 10 different varieties, and y'all pulling together and being able to now share in the experience of trying 20 different varieties. It really kind of continues to expand not only your personal experience with these pods, but also sharing that moment to be able to have them continue to add to what they have experienced and what they've enjoyed, and really starting to fine tune, because there are so many peppers out there, so many different varieties, many different hybridizations, that it's just like I don't know if you could physically eat every single pepper in the world. That's a tall order right now.
A lot.
Yeah.
Take you a life to do that, probably.
Oh yeah. Oh, I could imagine. I mean, I do. I'm fascinated with. I had a few episodes ago, Rich on. He was talking about his explorations as far as going to different parts of the world and finding kind of just peppers in nature, right? So like I'm fascinated with that idea in the history and the lineage of it all, like how this pepper traveled from here, and then this one came, all that, right? So like, because whenever it's telling of how the pepper responds in nature is also a good representation of what man-made constraints have kind of forced it to evolve into.
Right.
So it's wild, but okay,
Cool.
yeah. The so with burning and joining capsaicing crew, obviously that is for anyone that's listening and watching and doesn't really know, that is kind of like taking things to the next level in a very watered down way of saying that. Um, it, as you got in, what was the overall like? How did you feel about it? Were you anxious initially, or?
Um, I think within the first week or so, I was kind of anxious. I didn't really know what to expect. And then as I started seeing people going live and doing different things and kind of what was going on, um, I was like, I gotta jump in here. I just gotta get involved. Is what it kind of is. I wanted to have fun, and I wanted to, get in the mix quick. So I was just like, hey, let's do that. And sometimes in some nights it wasn't even really doing a flash, or it wasn't even participating in a challenge. It was just going live and dropping some robbies until I'm spitting and drooling, and that just became a normal thing. So you know uh, cap crew is its own unique animal. I don't know that. I mean, I've kind of looked around at some other pepper groups. There's just not as much activity as there is on Capsaicin Crew, and that's, I think, one of the beautiful things about it. It's just a very active and prolific group.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Absolutely agree with that. And to that point, whenever you came on and you came into Cap Crew, it was always interesting to watch how you started out in the initial introduction, and then it was just like full send after that, and just jumped in and kept going, kept pushing yourself. Always with very fun spins on whether it be a certain flash, taking it up a notch, if you will. Even in the times where you were simply meeting what was required, you went up a notch in the showmanship that you were going through the overall experience, right? So it was always fun to watch and be able to be a part of. We had the Das boot. That was insanely fun to watch and experience. I did not participate with the lederhosen and all the other stuff, but you got down on that one.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I always tried to bring a little something extra. Um, I started to view going live more as performance pieces, especially like with having luchador masks, dressing up in costumes. Yeah, I wanted to make every opportunity something that people could enjoy, whether it was wow, this guy's pushing himself, or wow, this guy's dancing around, whatever it might be. So I just try to have fun.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay. Now, you got involved. Obviously, challenges started naturally occurring in there. Were you doing challenges before you jumped into Cap Crew, or did it kind of start after that point?
Cap crew was like you said. I kind of came in and trickled in, and then it was just like you said, kind of full send. With peer pressure, and I really wouldn't even call it peer pressure. It's just it's almost like a Shark Tank in Cap Crew. You get in the water and you kind of see all these other people doing their thing, and you can't help, once there's some chum in the water, if you will, to just get in there and take part in the feeding frenzy. So it was just being in there, and then the awesome people that you start meeting and you start chatting with, and you know peer pressure, like hey, come on, man, you're gonna do this, you got to do this, so just an easy place to get wild and to get weird.
Yeah, yeah, definitely is. Okay. So as far as your first, so now I know you're doing like League of Fire challenges. You've done some of the Pure Insanity challenges.
I actually have never done one single League of Fire challenge, as sad as that is. I
Oh,
have something I need to do, but other than Dallas, I've never logged any points in challenges. But it's on my list of things to do. I'm a terrible procrastinator. That's probably one of my one of my things, but it's on my list. But no, I have done the Pure Insanity challenge. I have a couple other challenges of theirs that I need to knock out soon, but Yeah, I'm trying to get back into regularly burning again. I took some time off, uh, just to kind of, pull back. I didn't want to get burnt out. I started to feel like I was kind of getting to that point, and so I just took a few weeks off, almost 2 months, and I just starting to get back into it again. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, definitely. And but well, I guess then I guess I'm thinking of the reviews that you've been doing on League of Fire. So,
right.
yeah, yeah, definitely the League of Fire push that was in Dallas for the pepper eating, or yeah, the Dallas belt match, Pepper Palooza. Uh, that was definitely no small task at all. That was a lot of fun to be there on the stage with everyone and have such a glorious time to be able to bond together and burn together instead of just over a screen. So,
Yeah,
uh, but
absolutely.
as far as the reviews side of things, so I know that you've been doing those here and there. Now, I know League of Fire. It would what they just recently opened up reviews for on their page, correct? So,
Yes.
and how has that been? And now that you're starting to do some reviews and get some stuff going in that direction, does it
Yeah,
feel the
that's been.
same?
It's different. I mean, I'd rather be doing, like pushes and things like that, but it's been kind of getting me back out and active again, going live and just doing things. And they have it set up where like whoever, you know, every live you do is an entry, and then every month they do a drawing for like League of Fire products. So it was a way just to kind of get involved, and also too to get involved in the giveaway every month. But it's a little different. I do enjoy doing hot sauce reviews. I do enjoy talking about it. It's something I know that you enjoy as well. So it's a little different in that regard. But it was just a way just to kind of get back and get active and kind of still stay involved and not just kind of like, be on the outskirts again, I guess, because I wasn't doing a whole lot. And I figured this would be kind of a good way, just to stay around and kind of, like I said, just still kind of be active.
Yeah, yeah. The is as far as like being active, really finding your own personal enjoyment when it comes to like hot sauces and so on and so forth. I know that you make some amazing jerk sauce as well. You've started to really work on. It looks like a few different products that you have kind of in the works. When did you decide like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna just try my hand at this.
I started like fiddling around. It's probably 2000, yeah, probably 2022. I started fiddling around again. Michael Feeney, big influence. He had kind of showed me how to make hot sauce for the first time. I went over to his house. We made a few batches together, and so that kind of started then. And then, 2023, still making sauces and sharing with Michael, and then just last year, really just really trying to go for it. And again, being involved in Cap Crew and having more of an audience to sample these things that I was creating gave me a platform and a place to be able to share some of the stuff that I was doing, and really feeling like I have kind of a niche in making sauce now and gaining some more confidence. So, uh, yeah,
Very nice. Yeah, and you know, I can definitely see where that could take off. I mean, I enjoyed both iterations, the no, I guess the normal variation of the jerk sauce and then the hotter one. Absolutely phenomenal stuff
thank
there.
you.
Now with your own, obviously you've been growing in your tolerance, you've been growing in what you're comfortable with. Is there kind of a heat range that you would prefer to be around on more of a daily basis?
Um, I've been I've been pushing it harder here lately. Starting to get back into like training again, if you will. And to be honest with you, I've been taking a page out of your book. My first real hot meal of the day I do anymore now is like on an empty stomach, and so I'm really trying to push the ability to put some capsaicin in my stomach and on an empty stomach now. So as far as heat level here lately, I've been pushing it harder. I've been putting a lot more pepper powder on my food. A lot more mashed forward sauces are being used now. So on a daily, I'm trying to make them challenge level now. So yeah, the heat level has been intensified. But before that, I would say it was probably like something on the heat level of like jerking it, or maybe a little less. It was a daily use type of sauce.
Okay. Well, I mean, still very, very nice, respectable heat on that sauce as well. So it's not like it's it's not like you're going and grabbing some
No, it's a nice.
Cholula or something.
I would put jerk in it at like medium to hot.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely agree with that. And it's just packed with so much flavor too. It's not just out of whack. It's very well balanced. So kudos there. I guess to that same point with the really continuing to ramp up and get things going. Obviously, you have the Burn for the Brave that's coming up October. I believe it's October 11th, correct?
yes.
And that stage is currently pretty stacked. Looking forward to that match. It's going to be, in all honesty, it's anyone's game at this point. There's still some open slots. It looks like from the last time I paid attention to it, and it looks like ultimately the crew that is out there and representing Locked In, it's going to be a battle. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I'm looking forward to that match. There's already some good competition. Christopher Golly's looking to defend his belt for the second time. Stephen Kurgan's going to be there. Dean, Annie, two belt holder Annie Boyer. I mean, and then you've got several other belt matches that are going to be had over the course of this year. So other champions that are going to emerge. I'm excited to see what the final table is going to look like, and I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready for that matchup, and I look forward to it.
Oh yeah. Well, I have no fear that you'll be one of the last ones in that push. So I know that that's destined to happen. I'm just curious how this, because right now I'm seeing what, like a four. I think there's the four of y'all are officially locked in. Unless, no, wait, there's five. Yeah, five. That, and I'm just like, I don't see this. It's gonna be such a long run iteration that I don't really just see someone dropping out willy nilly. So maybe there's just some kind of a freak fluke for someone, but other than that, this is going to be a pretty epic showdown to experience and to be there and to watch. So definitely will be rooting you on. I
Thank
know we've been talking back and forth with Late for Work to be able to potentially uh, do some swear word shenanigans. Quick pre-show round. So being looks for that, but we'll see how that plays out. Um,
you.
it should be a lot of fun, but yeah. So with that, as far as obviously you got tinctures, you got powders, you got sauces, you got kind of a wide gambit of burning options. Do you have a personal preference on how you would burn? Like if you could burn any way possible, and it doesn't matter if like you're really trying to just go for a big goal or challenge or whatever, just your own personal preference. Do you have kind of one method that you tend to gravitate more towards?
Um, it's funny. I would probably say tincture. I wasn't always a big fan of it. Um, I just didn't. I guess I just hadn't burned that hard yet, and it was just. It always seemed just too hot. Why would you want to mess with that? But after joining Cap Crew and just the frequency that it is used, it became definitely a go-to method to to burn and to increase your tolerance. So probably tincture.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably mine as well. Now that I think about it, I mean, I've said it before because it really pushes me in the areas that I'm the weakest in. It was just like my overall mouth tolerance is always just absolute trash compared to everywhere else. Um, and so it's beautiful for that because you have to do is continue to swish it and hold it in there longer than you need to, and it starts to build up that mouth tolerance pretty nicely. But mine also drops pretty quick. So if I'm not on it, it doesn't work out too well. But to tie back as well to what you had mentioned, Definitely like the idea of going in empty stomach, priming the stomach with some capsaicin. I think you, me, and maybe one other person I have completely, ever kind of expressed this to, and they've understood that there might be something to it. At least it is that way for me, and it sounds like it's starting to kind of be that way for you. It ends up handling better in the body for me, and I think what it is, or at least what I've decided and deciphered down. So would be interested to know if maybe you're experiencing the same thing. But with the capsaicin hitting the gut and really just kind of letting that absorb, it's as if the body breaks it down faster because it's not trying to break down the food, which then kind of prolongs the overall gut attack. Is that something that you're seeing as well? Or?
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Definitely seeing that. The more volume of capsaicin too plays a role in that. I've experimented like I said, I've been using a lot more mash forward sauces. So I've noticed that if I go heavy with like the power on heavy with a mash forward sauce on an empty stomach with a pretty good amount of food, I am going to experience some cramping. But I've also found what you probably also found too. If you push water,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to push that through, and you're going to, I guess, uh, I kind of like just like cutting the burn a little bit. And I've noticed that pushing water helps. Hydration is a key factor in that. But yeah, I've been experimenting more, and I'm finding that going in with more capsaicin on an empty stomach, my stomach is handling it better. Like you said, I think it breaks it down faster. And then I've also found with if I start to feel like I'm getting cramps, if I chug some water, it's like gone. So
Yep, absolutely. So with me, I end up doing a lot of water and a lot of just straight black coffee, and
yep,
that I'll typically sip some black coffee beforehand, so it kind of speeds up the metabolism naturally and gets things going. And then yeah, I let it ride out for a bit, and then the second I start to feel like it's getting a bit too uncontrollable, even for like some
yep,
controlled breathing, that's whenever I start to introduce either more coffee or water most of the time, and you just kind of go from there.
yep,
But yeah, it I don't really get often I don't very often get stomach issues or anything of cramps in that matter. And even whenever I do, it's roughly it's easy to say it's about 45 minutes of absolute endurance of just cramps, horrible cramps, and then after that, it's typically fine. Also, I don't know if everyone's able to do this. I know I've heard from some that they're not able to sleep through cramps, but man, I just sleep like a baby if I go. It's the very few occasions that I'll wake up from it, but even then, it's once again I'm sitting there trying to controlled breathe for about 30 minutes and I can go back to sleep. So,
yeah. I've
per,
been woken up a few times, but I found that as it happened more frequently, I found that pushing fluids kind of kicked it. Like you said, in about an hour or less, it'd be done, and I could go back to sleep. So,
yeah, yeah. Now, as far as challenges that you have done, what would you say the one is that either the most memorable, or it could be possibly the one that just absolutely drug you through the mud?
man, there's been a lot. I mean, Dallas was the biggest pod push I've ever done, and you were a part of that. We both took it to the limit there. I really didn't realize how epic that match was until a few weeks after. I got to talking to different people, but man, that one's up there. Man, the stack off that was pretty brutal. Um,
Yeah.
that was tough. That pod push in my room before Dallas when I ate 21 pods, that was my biggest push until then, and that was Ryan Thomas, in the back chat saying, "You need to do this. You need to do this." So, man, there's so many. Probably those three. Probably some of my most epic or memorable.
Yep. No, that's it's wild to think, and for anyone that hasn't experienced it, so it's like one thing to sit at home or wherever else, right, and sit there and eat a whole bunch of peppers all at once. You naturally get in your own head, definitely when you're in your own environment of a comfortable space, whether it be your home or somewhere that you're normally used to, and being able to like experience it, but then you mentally start talking yourself out of it. Like, I don't need to do this. Like, there's no reason for me to keep going this far. And you start talking yourself out of it, as to where when you're on that stage and you're sitting there shoulder to shoulder, and everyone's up there for the same reasons, all loving it. It's like it almost fortifies you with the love and passion of what everyone's doing on that stage to just continue to go. It was wild experience. Like, I truthfully believe if it didn't go down to a speed run, you and me would have just been sitting there high
Yeah,
fiving later on, just keep going. Just
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think so too.
yeah, it
Big
was a
fan of pods
blast.
all day.
Oh yeah. It's a totally different environment, mindset, feel. Like, the energy is just much higher whenever you're sitting there. So yeah, it's a pretty great time. I'm definitely looking forward to jump back in one here again soon. So we'll
Me too.
see. Yeah. The all right. So as far as growing, I know we touched on this earlier. Wanted to tie back to that. What does your grow consist of? This year, are you growing anything? And if so, about are you going outdoors? Is it all in ground? Or are they in pots?
Yes, I have some stuff started. My main focus was to make sure that I had certain pods that I needed to make sauces, like jerking it and jerk that. Then I have some other varieties that I'm going to be growing. I'm shooting to try to get 15 to 20 varieties. Most of them will be going into the ground in about like a 5 to 7 gallon hole space. I make my own super soil every year. I've been doing that since like 2021. It's usually like peat moss, some kind of compost, and then some kind of manure, be it rabbit, chicken, or like worm poop or something like that.
Yep.
And then I have several 30-gallon containers. And what I also like to do is I'll put a couple plants inside of a 30-gallon pot together, and they'll grow out nicely. And I usually put two of the same plants in the same pot together. So that's my plan for this year.
Okay. So majority of the pods that you would be growing are going to be going towards your own spicy activities, whether that be sauce
Yeah,
or tinctures.
yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, being in such a close proximity to so many other, not only black hat holders, but other chili heads in Arkansas, like how do you is there just like mentally in my head, I think of like a Power Rangers or a Transformers moment, everyone kind of coming together. How does this whole the is there ever any kind of group events that just like y'all pull together and just burn out?
We need to, man. We got some awesome guys that live here in Arkansas. We got Brandon Harris, Barnhog lives here. Farmer Jay, Jared Smith lives here. Michael Feeney's right up the road, as well as Dale Davis is up the road from me too. Stephen Fiery Red Kurgan just moved to Bella Vista, which is about 2.5 hours from here. We need to do a big meetup some
Yeah.
weekend and just get together and do some shenanigans. But yeah, there's some really awesome guys that live in this state, so I'm honored to be among them.
Yeah, I mean, and two with the whole, product creation, whether that be for personal enjoyment or burning up friends, amongst that group, there is plenty in the arsenal to have a great burn session at any moment. So that's always got to be a lot of fun from the creativity standpoint, from the accessibility of, hey, I'm trying to find this pepper, blah blah blah, and really kind of honing in and bringing it together. As far as which quick little nod for all those that are watching and listening for the upcoming game. Is there a pepper from last season that you absolutely fell in love with?
Yeah, I really like that RB003. That was one of my favorites last year. I really like the Amnesia pepper as well.
Yeah, yeah. So the amnesia pepper, it's I often hear a lot of people talk about how just overpoweringly bitter it is, but I didn't like. While I got some bitter notes, right, it wasn't like completely free of that. I didn't really pick up on an extreme overpowering bitterness. And I did find that nice nuttiness. The overall, it did have a little bit of floral, a little bit of bitterness, nothing too crazy. Pretty well balanced in that perspective, so it wasn't overriding or overpowering anything. But yeah, I mean, what was the thing that stood out as far as that pepper that you really were liking? Was it the burn or the flavor on it, or a
Uh,
combination?
I think it was a combination of both. The burn was hotter than I expected it to be, and I think the flavor was just kind of, like you said, kind of earthy, nutty, but like kind of paired well. Like it was just sort of like, oh, that's different. It wasn't the best tasting pepper, but then with the heat that kind of came with it and the way that it burned, it was like, all right, this isn't bad. And then I had a couple different sauces. Wonka made one, I believe, that had some amnesia peppers in it, and it was just pretty good. And I could recognize the flavor of them in there. So I think that was it. It was just like, oh, that's kind of subtly good. I think one of those surprisingly good peppers.
Yeah.
That
It's definitely one that I would continue to eat again and seek out. But yeah, it's also I love the name of it. I always like to even beat the dead joke, or beat the joke to death, is the whole like forgetting what I just ate after I ate it, right? So,
what was that?
huh, 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 huh? Oh, let me have an what? Huh? Yeah. No, great name. Very well played on that one. As far as what you have going on coming up in the future, obviously we talked on the upcoming pepper competition for the belt mega belt match, I guess if you could say, for the U.S. Um, do you have any other kind of plans or anything in the pipeline that you're excited to be a part of?
Yeah, I have a second belt match as well. In August in Italy, I have a seat at the Intercontinental belt. So I already got my passport application turned in. I'll probably hear back from that in sometime in May, and then I can start figuring travel arrangements for that. So two really big opportunities this year. Um, Really excited about that. I've never been across the pond like that. So just excited to be able to be invited to that, to be considered for that, and really looking forward to that opportunity too.
Nice. Is that a one versus one type of scenario, or is that another panel?
Yeah. So what that was League of Fire sent out 23 invitations almost a month ago, and I was given one, and then it was kind of yay or nay whether you accept it. And then what they did was a lottery drawing a couple weeks after the invitations were sent out, and I was picked, and I was given a seat. So it'll be another opportunity there to compete against Chris Fergali will be there again. Stephen Fiery Reds got an invitation. Naughty Nottingham got an invitation. So there'll be an American presence there for sure. And then we got the defending champion Giancarlo Pepperjack from Italy. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be another stack table. There's a champion from Italy. There's belt holders from England. Charlie Whitmore's gonna be there. So
Oh
this is gonna
man.
gonna be a good competition. Yeah.
Yeah. Charlie's someone that I definitely would love to meet up with in person one day. I know that that's got to be a lot of fun to check out. I mean, that's a killer lineup. Definitely interested to hear your feedback on that. I know Naughty has said that the pods over there, she felt they were much hotter than the pods that she was able to find here. So definitely interested to see how that plays out. I also wonder, obviously with elevation changes and differences, you always have. I mean, whether you're talking cars, alcohol, whatever, you have different reactions, boiling water reactions to how fast things happen. I wonder if there's not some kind of different altitude adjustment changes that kind of come into play, whether it be ultimately uh, oxygen, just normal breathing patterns kind of being slightly out of sync from where you're used to, that add to that overall burn factor on it.
Maybe. I was hoping to be able to get there maybe a day or two before the competition to try to acclimate. to being over there and the time change and everything too. So it might be a factor. There might be slight differences, and I would imagine they would have some pretty hot pods there. I mean, they have a rich, deep history over there with peppers and stuff. So uh, I'm sure they do beautiful work.
Yeah. Is there a certain dish that you're thinking about you're really wanting to pick out and try while you were there? I'm a big
Man,
foodie, so I like that's
yeah.
immediately where my head went.
I definitely want to get some good, pasta. I definitely want that, and I definitely want a nice glass of wine while I'm there.
Yep. Yeah. No, that sounds like a perfect selection. The amount that would be the hardest part is so I am all for the idea of I do a lot of fasting and trying to basically limit my eating windows and all these other things. But you drop me in an environment like that, and it's on the inner pig comes out. I just start grabbing everything. I just eat it all. So yeah, my mind's already running a million different directions on that. So I'll I'll jump off of that one for a second. But yeah, so I mean, you got quite a few things coming on between belt matches, the different belt matches that you have going on. It's going to be some pretty epic push to see on both of those ends. Now, is the one overseas, is that actually happening? I guess what date is that one? Is that occurring before the Burn for the Brave?
Yes, that's August 30th and the 31st over in Reti, Italy. I can't remember off the top of the head what the name of the festival is, but yeah, that's going to be August 30th and the 31st. And then the Blaze for the Brave is October 11th. And then the 12th is the road match after our belt match happens the next day.
Yeah, the man, the amount of absolute pushes that are going to be going into that building up. That there's at least three that you mentioned that will be there. So then that means three of y'all are going to be overly primed and ready to go for October 11th, and I'm looking forward to really now. I mean, that's kind of giving me a better idea. Now I got to keep watching and seeing who's training and how they're training. But I guess with that too, man, so I guess a little bit of inside baseball on that with me too, and maybe this is something that you experience. I found that, and only works so far for me that I have really kind of talked through. But leading up to Dallas, it was like I would do all these stuff ahead of time, but really that last 2 weeks, I just didn't really eat anything spicy. Very minor stuff, light stuff. I wouldn't really count. But is that something that you end up going in, or are you just pushing nonstop all the way to the date?
Um, I think some of the last things I did before Dallas, I think Das Boot was the last thing I think I did before Dallas. That was like 3 or 4 days for that. And then I think the stack off maybe a week and some change before that. So I was pushing pretty hard. I mean, almost right up until.
Yeah, that seems to be key for everyone. I don't know if maybe I don't know if maybe I should continue to push through that, but just I know mentally and physically, my body having that quick little reset tends to do better if I know that I'm about to do something a bit more intensive. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I don't know. It's something that I'm fascinated with, and I'm trying to figure out like how's everyone else outlook on this, and what are they really kind of doing? Because then you start to get a better understanding of not everything's going to work for everyone, but ways that you could potentially different avenues you could go. You're kind of seeing
Right.
a broader map that you can get to your final destination with. So
Yes.
the I will say we have a few more questions before we jump over to the game, but just wanted to make sure the overall time and burns that you have had going on. Was there ever a moment in your life where you're like, I'm gonna be that guy that's just I mean, because we've all seen clips, definitely now in today's age, where you'll watch somebody absolutely just jump to the deep end for what being you before you dove in head first, and you watch it and you're like, yeah, that's not for me. Did you ever have one of those moments? And did you ever think like maybe one day I'll do that? Like, yeah, why not?
Man, I'll be real with you, man. I still feel like an outsider. I still like honestly, I look at those posters and that's me on there and I go, dude, I'm doing this. Like, I still kind of, I, I don't know, man. Like, I never sought out to do any of this. I never saw myself being a competitive chili eater. So it's still very, um, kind of surreal. I'm still kind of humble. Like, I look at other people as heroes. Like, Michael Feeney will probably always be like my pepper hero. Um, I look at like Matt Johnston, Charlie Whitmore. I look at a lot of other people as like heroes, and I'm just sort of like here. Like I don't know. Like I still kind of just feel like the new kid a lot of times. Like there's so much history in this community that I'm still learning about, and there's you know what I mean. So it's like I'm just happy to be here, man, and be a part of it. Like
Yeah. No, I mean, very well said. Yeah. I mean, and you know, Matt Johnston wears a cape, so there's that. He
right.
also flies around and saves the day. So, yeah, I can definitely see that. And then everyone that you mentioned is a very solid stand up. I love what they're doing. They are genuine and true to their craft, and there's always a fun flair with everything they do. So I can see where those individuals would stand out and really help kind of continue to push you on, if you will. So,
Absolutely.
oh
Absolutely.
man, but the I guess the one last thing we'll ask question wise before jumping on over to the game is from times that you have looked back at your current belt and looking towards the future belts, are you it now, because there's a whole nother avenue with this. So League of Fire and the ranking system really climbing, is that something that you see yourself wanting to set out to try to do, is to go after say a League of Fire season?
I could potentially see that. I think if I were just to get a little bit more intentional and like plan some more strategic times to burn more consistently, I could see myself maybe taking a push at like really trying to put some points up on the board. It does seem like something that I could do. Um, but again, it's just I'm such a procrastinator. But no, that's definitely something that I would like to do more of for sure.
Okay, okay. Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and we'll kick it on over to the game. All right. Well, here we go. We have a very special round of Keep Five, Cut Five. And for everyone that is watching and listening, and if this is your first time checking out the section of the game, Keep Five, Cut Five has 10 items on the board. I will list them off one by one. They're all numbered. And this way, what will happen is you will either choose to keep or cut, and we just keep an alternating pattern. That way, we'll go down the list as it goes. But here, I'll read these off first. The very first pepper here is the Deadpool pepper. The second one is the chocolate bootla. The third one is the Trinidad Maruga Scorpion. And then we have the Jigsaw Naga Brains. And then we have the Lemon Starburst, Ghost Pepper. Then we have the Chocolate Primotali, the Gator Jigsaw Purple, and the 7-Pot Jonah. And finally, we have the RB003. So,
Nice.
that is the lineup, and as you can tell, minus two. This is all. Wait, actually three, because I don't think that other one was in there. It might have been in as a cross, but so three of these pods, not from the Dallas belt match, but all the others are. So
That's
where
cool.
would you like to start first, a keep or a cut?
Definitely gonna keep that. Let's start with the keeps. Let's keep that RB003.
All right.
Let's keep that. Did you say you had a chocolate primo tali?
Yes, that one's
Keep
right
that.
here. And then
Let's keep.
let's grab a cut real quick.
Oh, cut. Let's cut that scorpion maruga.
All right. What do you enjoy the flavor at all, or what is your stance on those?
Uh, they're. I don't mind scorpions, but like when you start crossing them into like marugas, I feel like the maruga brings a little different taste to it. Um, I'm not an incredibly huge maruga fan. I don't know. Like I feel like when you combine the two, it takes a little bit away from like the scorpion.
All right. Well, let's grab one more cut and then we can flip it on over to a keep.
Uh, let's cut. Man, let's cut the.
So we
Let's
got
cut
the
the. What's next to the maruga scorpion? What was that one?
that's the jigsaw crossed with naga brains.
That was a good one.
Yep. And then so you got gator jigsaw purple, 7-pot Jonah, lemon starburst, the
Let,
Deadpool, and
that's so
the
good.
chocolate bootla.
Let's cut the chocolate bootleg.
All right. Chocolate bootla is gone. Now we can either do a keep or a cut.
We gotta keep the Deadpool.
Keeping Deadpool. Like it. That was actually this last year was my first time to really try those and absolutely loved them.
Good
Phenomenal
pause.
peppers.
Good pods. Um, we'll cut. I guess we'll cut the say Gator Jigsaw.
Yep. Gator jigsaw purple. Yeah. That's a burner. That is definitely a burner, but the flavor on it is not quite as good as say the yellow or the gold variation of it.
What do we got left?
So we got the jigsaw crossed with naga brains. We have the lemon starburst, and we have the 7-pot Jonah. And what? One more. The ghost.
We'll keep the lemon starburst.
All right.
Good pod. Good sauce pod.
So ghost pepper, 7-pot Jonah, and jigsaw crossed with naga brains.
We'll get rid of the Jonah. We'll get rid of that one,
All right.
and we'll keep. We got one more keep, one more toss.
Yep. So whatever happens next automatically defaults for the other.
All right, we'll keep the. Yeah, we'll keep the one on the far left corner.
All right.
When was that? I forgot.
The number 4 right here.
The far left corner here.
Okay. There we go. That's going to be the ghost pepper.
Yeah, we'll keep that one. I like ghost peppers.
All right. There we go. So running it back, we have kept the Deadpool. We have kept the lemon starburst, the ghost pepper, the chocolate primo tali, and the RB003. Everyone else getting cut. Absolutely very well done. What did you think of the game?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Makes me want to revisit those peppers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's a beautiful lineup of pods. Wild event. To think that starting out the first round with 3 chocolate primo talis was wild in its own right, but a very fun experience. Now, the the one of the main things is really kind of diving into deeper, just so much more that we can really get into, but ultimately a nugget of knowledge towards so let's say someone that's just wanting to start out burning, or maybe they've been burning but they've been kind of hesitant to pushing themselves. What would be your nugget of knowledge for those folks?
Um, don't be scared to take it up a notch. Um, whether that be you know trying tincture or trying a hotter sauce than you normally would, or eating a few pods. Don't be scared to try it, to take it up a notch, because that's how we all started. I don't think any of us just started slamming super hots right out the gate. I certainly didn't. It was hot sauce, and then it was growing peppers, and then just trying different peppers and stuff like that. So don't be scared to take that next step, I guess. Don't be scared.
Very well said. Now, here's your chance to put someone else on the hot seat. Obviously, you were nominated to be on the show, and wanted to now talk through a possible nomination for someone that you think would make a great addition
Yeah,
for the show.
I think Stephen Fiery Red Kurgan would be a good guest.
There we go. Steven, I will be reaching out. We will be lining up a time to have you on the podcast. Looking forward to diving in with that as well. Is there anything else you want to let those individuals that know that are watching and listening right now? Where can they find you? How can they find you? And anything else you have going on?
I'm on Facebook, of course. I'm on Instagram. It's just Fritz with some heavy underscores in between the letters of my name. And then, of course, I have a YouTube channel, Fritz4422 at YouTube. And I just want to say thank you to, Michael Feeney, Brandon Wright, you, of course. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Just everybody that I've met in this community, over the course of the last, year, that's just been a good friend, reached out and been encouraging. I don't go to Dallas. I don't do any of this if it isn't for you guys and your friendships and your encouragement and believing in me. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been a friend to me, believed in me, pushed me, and encouraged me. I appreciate all of you guys.
Well, thank you so much, and glad to have you here, and definitely looking forward to having you back on. So once again, Fritz, thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Fritz, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure having you on the podcast here tonight. Hey, if you want to keep up with Fritz, I will have his socials down below so you can keep up with him on all the different platforms. And if you enjoyed the hot sauces that we had here tonight on Hot or Not, I will have the direct links for those down below, as well as the main link to the website for Freaky Ferments, so you can check out the full lineup of all products that are offered. And hey, don't forget, new episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central. I could not do this without y'all. Thank you so much, Swear Nation, for being a part of the show. Continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads, or maybe some individuals that are just curious about the world of hot, because this is where you can find everything to do with the world of hot. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, podvision.io. If you're looking to grow your brand, start your brand, you hit a bump in the road, you're trying to figure things out, highly recommend checking out podvision.io for all your needs, as well as we have another great channel sponsor, webdx.one. If you have a website, maybe it's out of date, maybe you need an update, maybe it's got some stuff and you had someone in the past, but things have fallen off, highly recommend checking out webdx.one for all those needs, as well as they are able to help your medium and small business grow with automation. I'm Brandon Swear, and from everything from the world of hot, this has been The Swear Word.